Glenn doing the science thing again. I will never get tired of this stuff. I read physics and psychology. I finished my master's in psychology in 2006. These results tie in with what is generally observed, and it pisses off a lot of people because their ideas are faith-based and not evidence-based.
Hey, David, thought we'd kick this episode of SMG Viewers Comments off with your little observation there because all I can say is, wow, it's going to be an amazing Friday, and the forecast is salty. Seriously, though, I just released my video on Tuesday about the Vintage Guitar Tone Challenge and published the results. And let's say this, I think I might have pissed off the entire guitar community in one video. Yay me! Now, here's the thing. The motivation for this video was not to make anybody look like an idiot. It's to merely show you guys that we do tend to listen with our eyes. And hopefully with that knowledge, we'll keep that in mind the next time we're in a guitar store. And remember to spend money on important things and not the shiny, expensive things that might not make any real sonic difference. Now, this is a hilarious bit. In the 2 days this video has been out, it's got over 1,200 comments. A lot of you guys really appreciated the video. A lot of you guys are pretty butthurt. Anyway, it's going to make for a hell of an episode of SMG Viewers Comments. Let's get right into it, shall we?
Actually, the way you did this would be considered to be unethical by most any scientist. If you invite your subjects to compare items A, B, and C, you don't sneak in items D, E, and F when they're not looking. That is unethical, or at the very minimum, it's a dick move. It does explain how none of the clips sounded quite like I might have imagined they would have given the presumed 3 choices you offered.
Yet you never commented originally that the 3 clips provided didn't sound like you presumed they would. Wow, that's rather shocking, isn't it, considering your superhuman hearing? I'm also going to ask this. Since you're making presumptions, you presume that most scientists would find this method of testing unethical. Okay, I'm going to ask this. Did you actually gather any evidence that any scientists found this test unethical? Because what I did is known in the science world as a placebo test. They do that all the time, especially when it comes to testing new drugs and that kind of thing to make sure the drug is actually having an effect. I did the exact same thing here. I wanted you guys to tell me which guitar was which using only your ears, and surprise, surprise, almost none of you were correct. Now, you can call it whatever you like. You can call me whatever names you like, but the test results are indisputable.
It's very fun to see that you believe you proved all the world wrong and that you did it in a scientific way. Tone is not in their hands. The world is flat. I can say for sure that if you're doing it for the views, completely understandable, or because you're not so knowledgeable and scientific as you think you are. Please keep doing your science. Comedies don't make me laugh. I need this stuff. Deep.
Well, you can say it's not scientific, but here's the thing. The only thing that beats science is better science. So when it comes to guitar tone, I eagerly await your tests and your results, and I can't wait for you to publish them. Of course, we all know that's going to happen.
So you tricked everybody, lol. You made sure it was impossible to get it right to prove a point?
You guys keep telling me how awesome your hearing is, and in fact, it wasn't impossible because somebody actually did get it right.
The one in the middle was the guitar. Before and after were 2 muffled pieces of junk. The crunch was made by the amplifier.
Leo of the Red Keep, I know it says edited in the title there, but no, I actually screenshotted that before I put out the reveal video. My hat's off to you, dude. Seriously, that is the closest to the actual results that any commenter got. So you know what? Please reach out to me via PM or something like that. Let me see if I can send you a Northern Mauler or something like that for a job well done. Yes, 2 of them were muffled pieces of junk, and the third one was the PRS. Yes, and the crunch does come from the amp. Is anybody actually fucking surprised by this shit? Really? But for the previous comment, oh, that was impossible to tell. No, it's not impossible, as evidenced by Leo of the Red Keep. If you're frustrated and you feel a little bit cheated, maybe you should work on those amazing hearing skills of yours.
On another channel, I got dogpiled on for saying that most guitarists have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to good tone. Good times!
Well, as the first commenter said about things being based in faith, it's the exact same thing. If you went to a religious convention and say, hey, isn't this all kind of bullshit? You'd probably get strung up and lit on fire. I mean, like, they literally used to light people on fire for questioning articles of faith. They literally burned people at the stake for this kind of thing. So on the internet, we get it, the same kind of effect, just not quite as violent. At least not yet, anyway. But when it comes to Gibson owners, hey, it's anybody's guess what's gonna happen.
I guarantee if you do a side-by-side comparison with people in the same room, you'll hear the difference. Listening through laptop or phone speakers as a reference is ridiculous. Same with your tube amp comparison videos.
And that's why I recommend everybody watches my videos through proper studio monitors. Of course, if you're going to listen through laptop speakers, you're going to have a much harder time discerning anything. But where did I say, hey, listen to this through laptop speakers? I don't remember the part of the video where I said this. And if you didn't like my tube test video, once again, I invite you to do a better test. Still waiting for that to happen. It's been over a year since I did my tube test video. Nobody's actually been able to refute it with better evidence. The only person who's gone and done the work into where tone happens in a guitar amp is Jim Lill, and his videos are amazing, and none of his stuff has refuted anything I've said. The only thing that's been refuting my stuff are people throwing insults at my person and my character, because how dare you upset the balance of the faith of the mighty church of the tube? Now, I have been working on making a better test for the tube shootout video, and that's definitely going to happen. And the only thing it's going to do is get more scientific. So if you don't like facts coming your way, I highly suggest you unsubscribe from this channel, because you're going to learn some things you're not going to like.
You claim this video is about one thing, where in reality it's something different. You asked viewers to guess which guitar was out of the three you claimed would be among the examples, and that's what people did. They took their best guesses according to the information they were given. Nobody claimed they could spot a specific guitar out of a bunch of random audio files they were trying to. You're just making it look as if they did. Pretty sure most people, when they said extra Y was the Strat, they said because they were clearly hearing a single coil pickup, not to assume that this Nesco, of course, with the Strat. They had absolutely nothing to do with the visuals, but indeed with the sonics. This video proves absolutely nothing, other than you were willing to dupe your audience to prove a point and score a few cheap clicks. But yeah, keep on fighting the good fight for all the goofs that can't hear differences in pickups, I guess.
Okay, interesting observation. Of course, it's not based in any kind of reality, and I'm going to quote you here. You asked the viewers to guess which guitar is which out of the three you claimed would be among the examples. And that is absolutely not true. I asked you guys to tell me which guitar was which. I said I was going to play some vintage guitars. At no time did I claim at all that the vintage guitars that you saw in the image, in the picture I was sitting there with, would be the guitars playing. That is the assumption you made. And that's the point behind this experiment, is to show you guys that our assumptions can lead us astray. They can lead us to make the wrong conclusion. To say I claim that these were going to be playing. No, at no fucking time did I did, not whatsoever. So instead of getting angry about the test I made, maybe go back and watch and look at how I explained it. And maybe, I don't know, try fucking paying attention, smart guy!
This counting test pisses me off. I was told three vintage guitars pick the difference. Tricking us by switching them out doesn't seem to further the conversation, but instead it gives you a reason to point and laugh. Like asking which candy is my favorite wrong apples. It's almost like you worked on a production line and not in a STEM career. I mean, I would hear the difference between them talk about not what they are. The only thing you improve is what predisposition ideas of what certain guitars sound like and what other guitars sound the same. That was not the scope of the original experiment, because the guess was that they all sounded different. Everyone agrees on that. But it just seems like you want to distract from the fact that they did indeed sound different, or use it as an excuse to push your cheap Chinese guitars.
Push cheap Chinese guitars. Wow, the assumptions run strong in this crowd. Damn. My whole point was to see if anybody could pick out that, hey, you know what? That's not a Gibson ES335. What's going on here? Why does this sound like shit? I don't know what it is, but it doesn't sound like that, because apparently the 335 has this very famous sound. Same with vintage Strats. People go apeshit over themselves and wet themselves over vintage Strats, and yet everybody thought it was a vintage Strat, and yet it turned out to be a vintage piece of shit. The great thing was people could tell the differences between humbuckers and single coils. Great, you know what? That proves something as well, that we don't need to see the guitar being played to tell the difference between different pickup types. As far as humbuckers and single coils are concerned, when you get into different types of humbuckers, believe me, that window fucking narrows quite a bit. And I apologize, that pickup video should have been out yesterday, and it's still not. I'm still working on it. It's gonna take a little bit longer than I thought. Stay tuned for that.
No offense, but this video proved nothing. Try putting those three vintage guitars back to back with a hunk of crap fiddlesticks and see if people can figure it out. Without reference, you're only able to discern the humbucker versus single coil. The tone could be more the engineer's issues than the guitars at that point.
Well, I think the video proves plenty, to be honest with you. You know, despite the endless comments and countless YouTube forums and talking about this and talking about this as regards to tone, is when push comes to shove and you put it to an actual test, most guitar players cannot tell the difference between a vintage 1962 Gibson ES335 and a piece of shit. Do guitar players talk out of their ass? Evidence says, you betcha. But then again, I gotta say, I'm completely surprised that a guy by the name of Voodoo Jimmy H with a Marshall and a Les Paul and his icon would be offended by my test. Shocked, I tell you, absolutely shocked. Never saw that one coming.
Glenn, no matter how many times you continue to prove this tone bullshit true, gear snobs are still going to argue with you about it.
Well, of course they are. But the thing is, are they going to do better tests? Of course not. That would take work.
Me watching Gibtards justify their uncomfortable ass guitars by claiming the classic Gibson tone can't be replicated. Seethed this video.
Glad you enjoyed it.
So this proved that people can at least hear the difference between humbuckers and single coils.
Well, it proved two things. One, that yes, people can tell the difference between humbuckers and single coils. And the second thing is guitar players can't tell the difference between anything else. Not without some kind of visual aid anyway.
My guitarist says he can hear the difference between a maple fretboard versus rosewood. Can you make a video to test this out? Thanks.
Well, we kind of already did that last year. I had two guitars built the exact same way, just with different kinds of wood. And I even offered one of them as a prize to the person who could tell it in a full mix. Big shocker, nobody won, and I had to give it away on a raffle. Once again, our hearing isn't as developed as we think it is. So as per your guitar player, I mean, like if acoustically, could you hear it? Probably. But plugged in and recorded, yeah, nice fucking try. But if your guitar player is that confident in his hearing, yes, I'd ask him to prove it in a fully recorded solid body electric demo. Maple fretboard versus rosewood, sure, go for it. Wow us all, blow us all away. But remember, extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence, and as far as I'm concerned, your guitar player, of course, has brought none.
I always thought the tone is in the hands was more about skill than actual tone. Holding chords better and clean and tighter muting, smoother vibratos, etc.
Yeah, I love that. That's typical guitar player speak. Well, tone in the hands isn't actually about tone. Are you fucking kidding me? If it's about technique, then call it technique. The technique is in the hands. Doesn't that make much more sense? Maybe I need to publish something like the SMG lexicon for deciphering guitar player terminology. Tone is in the hands is actually about technique. Tone wood is sustain wood. Somebody fucking help me out here, please.
That cream tea guitar is beautiful. I'm surprised no one came out with a swappable pickup guitar sooner. A tool like that would be great for a studio.
Yeah, this guitar is beautiful. It plays beautiful. It looks beautiful. And yeah, the swappable pickups, like this is really freaking cool. Now, as for it being a studio tool, somebody has clearly drunk the humbucker Kool-Aid. All I can say is wait till the video comes out. I'm hoping to have it out on Tuesday. You're not going to want to miss this. And all I can say is, dude, hold on to your wallet.
I think people also listen by price a lot, as it's like more expensive, so your mind automatically says it must sound better.
Oh, I would agree with that. It goes pretty much with everything. Cars, guitars, studio gear, you name it. People do listen with their wallets. Oh, it's expensive, so it must be better. And I've seen that disproven so many times in here over the years where we've had, bare bones gear just do amazing stuff. I mean, like preamps, when it comes to esoteric preamps and recording, if you read gear sluts, you go on and on and on. Oh, you need the expensive preamps, you need the expensive preamps, you need the expensive preamps. Yet when I started hanging out on the Andy Sneap forum in 2005, I saw guys making these incredible guitar recordings using like Behringer and Mackie mixers. And I'm like, well, what the hell's going on here? They're getting way better sounds than me. And I've like got Neves and shit. That's when you realize it's not about how much money you drop. It's about experience and knowing what to look for. I mean, when I did the Lewitt 1040 review, I said, this is literally the best microphone I've ever used. This will blow the doors off of $6,000 Neumanns. And I got so many comments from people saying, oh, well, we tried the 1040 and we didn't think so. And it's like, well, that's kind of hilarious because I've got a pre-production module and you guys haven't even had the chance to try one out yet. So it just goes to show that people will try and make baseless claims to protect their investment. Keep that in mind, too, when you're reading forums.
Looks like I was right again. Duracell's in the pedals.
Hey, great observation there, Robert Babbitt. Yeah, you're right. It's all down to the types of batteries in the pedals.
I feel it was a very misleading video then. How could anyone have guessed it was anything if you didn't give us the right choices? People gave their best guesses based on the info they had.
People made their best guesses based on the assumptions they made. I said vintage guitars, and you guys with the amazing hearing should have easily been able to tell which vintage guitars were which. After all, you do have superhuman hearing. At least that's what you guys have told me over and over and over again. Who would have thought most of you were completely full of shit?
Glenn, you have done me a bamboozle, sir, and I still feel bad. You gave me a Coke taste test and fed me Pepsi.
I only fed you the truth, my friend. You made the assumption.
This video feels kind of pointless. Most people acknowledge that it's difficult to discern one Strat style guitar from the next based on a blind test, but moving the goalpost midway through the test feels unscientific and redundant. You just proved that a Strat sounds like a Strat, etc. A lot of why people gravitate towards a vintage guitar is based on intangibles you can't experience from a blind audio test anyway. Feel, etc. Surely a better test would be a blindfold playing test because where you can experience the instrument as a whole just instead of the sound.
Hey guys, that's a great idea. Fucking amazing. I love it. Why don't you grab your credit cards and run down to the music store and load up on some of those intangibles? That's a really good idea. Spend thousands of stuff you can't fucking discern why you need to spend it, but you have to. Probably because it's shiny and looks cool. But no. Guitar players never listen with their eyes. My test was completely pointless. Now, as for the blind test, yes, I've got something coming out. I actually did an Ibanez blindfold test challenge at 42 Gear Street. That video was an awful lot of fun, and you're going to be seeing that on the show in a few weeks. And do I get things wrong? Of course, I'm human.
This is silly. If you did the Pepsi challenge with 2 pops that weren't coded for Pepsi, doesn't make the test subject dumb. It makes you an asshole.
Obviously, once again, not paying attention. At no time was I trying to make anybody look dumb. I was merely trying to prove a point that you listen with your eyes and you make purchases based on bad information. I'm trying to save you money. That's the ultimate goal.
I thought about leaving a comment on that video, but I honestly couldn't tell, so I kept my mouth shut. A skill most guitar players will never pick up.
Vincent Peer, that is the best comment on this show. Well done, man. I got to remember that one.
Hey Glenn, on the subject of pickups, I have a real question. A few months back, I got a Harley-Benton EX76 GHAN and love it, but the pickups just really kind of lack. The neck specifically, I don't like it at all. The bridge is okay. My problems with one, they're kind of fizzy and tinny. 2, they feedback way too much, even at low volumes. They don't seem to be microphonic though, so that's not an issue. Anyways, I was looking for something a bit tighter, punchier, and less prone to unwanted noise. Since you're doing a pickup-centered content right now, I was going to ask you to point a video about things like output, noise control, and things for people that aren't necessarily tone Nazis, but are looking to address some of these issues in an affordable manner. There's just so many opinions out there, I don't know where to start. Any help would be appreciated.
Did you try upgrading your speakers? That would be my first advice before you try upgrading your pickups. However, if your pickups are feeding back and humming, I did run into the same issue with the cheap Jackson I bought way back in 1995. Yeah, the stock pickups were terrible. I don't know if they were given the wax treatment or not. Anytime I would rest with high gain, they just hum like crazy. So I swapped them out for some EMGs and the problem went away. The tone of the guitar shift, no, it didn't. But I got much better results and I could get better performances because I didn't have to worry about the guitar feeding back when I didn't want it to. That would be the appropriate time to spend money on new pickups, is if you are having issues with them humming and feeding back, that kind of thing. If you're looking for a massive tone improvement, buy new speakers. Seriously, you're gonna get way better results.
I have definitely for years listened with my eyes. I've used endless gear through my 30 plus years of playing, always going for the number on the dial versus listening to where the tone was. Called OCD or just flat out copying someone else's setting just to find that it wasn't what I thought it would be. As soon as you listen with your ears, you notice you get a lot more out of your gear. Let the gear do what it does, not what you want it to do, and buy accordingly. Glenn, you do a very good job of proving that a set of good tubes, a decent guitar, and a great playing goes a lot further than the next best thing. Thank you for trying your best to show us that cost and hype means shit.
Oh, hey, Ray, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. At least the message is getting through to someone. And this is the thing. No matter how many people, rage against me for making these tests and whatnot, and getting mad because they feel foolish after taking it, if it helps somebody save some money on their next purchase, then I've done my job. I'm trying to look out for the people out there who want to buy gear, who might not have the best information and might be just going on forum comments and whatnot with no evidence to back anything up. This is why I do tests, so you can reference and go, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't be spending a lot of money here. Maybe I should be spending my money on other things that will actually help me achieve the goals that I'm after. Now, if you do find value in what I do, I ask you humbly, please hit the subscribe button because I'll continue to make more tests. Once again, we've got the pickup shootout video coming out. That's going to be quite an eye-opener for a lot of you guys, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of butthurt comments about that video as well. All I can do is be honest with the tests and try and show you guys where real changes are being made. Now, if you're interested in learning something and possibly having your preconceptions decimated along the way and hopefully save some money too, please hit the subscribe button. It's going to be a very interesting ride. I've got some really cool tests coming up along the way, and we're going to take a look at some other cheaper guitars that we can maybe rescue too. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you want to see what that test was all about, please hit this right here and it'll take you to the Vintage Guitar Tone Challenge. It's an awful lot of fun and the comment section is really quite entertaining. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time.